Welcome to the Voice of Oneness, your call to awaken. This show is your call to awaken to the truth of your being through the teachings of the Voice of Oneness, spoken by Aumara. On this show, you will receive spiritual guidance and the teachings of oneness from the heart of spirit directly to your heart, along with the tools and techniques to apply these teachings to your day-to-day life. Tuning in each week, you will grow in a deeper, richer understanding of your true nature as teachings are offered about universal spiritual laws that govern our lives. You will learn the right use and application of these laws to achieve the richest life from the perspective of experiencing abundance in all areas of your life. Aumara Bonnet is a renowned psychic, spiritual teacher, coach, energy healer, mystic, and gifted visionary who taps into the higher realms to join with the vast collective of source energy. Now, your host of Voice of Oneness, Aumara Bonnet.
Good evening, friends, and welcome to the Voice of Oneness, your call to awaken here on WLTK-DB radio. I'm your host, Aumara, and I thank you so much for listening, for joining us here live tonight, or if you are going to listen to the recording. Welcome, thank you, and I ask for your participation. As this show is designed to, in the first part of the show, I'll be talking and discussing, and the Voice of Oneness will be speaking on a topic. And then the second half is all about you. It's all about your questions, and we answer your questions. So submit your questions through the comment section here, either on the station or on the YouTube or where you were tuning in from. And I will answer those questions during the second half of the show. So thank you for joining. Tonight's topic is intuition and your power of choice. I selected this topic because it comes up all the time, and especially when someone is joining my meditation group on Tuesday evenings, or it's a client I may be working with. And the question will be, how do I tune into my intuition? What is my intuition? And intuition means different things to different people. Some people look at it as psychic ability. I want to become an intuitive. I want to connect to the psychic sense. And what is a psychic sense? Psychic sense is extrasensory perception, seeing beyond, sensing outside of our five senses. That's what we can say is a psychic sense. And when we want to tune into our intuition is within us. It's another aspect of us. It's always on board. It's not something that we have to achieve. It's not something we have to cultivate in it, designing it. It's something that we open up to. It's something that we join with through the proper understanding of that which it is. It's an aspect of ourself. It's not separate from us, but it's a part of us. It's the part of us that holds the inner knowing. It's a part of us that's not in the world of surface appearances. It's not distracted. It's the part of us that holds that true knowing, the truth of our being. It's a part of us that guides us. It's a part of us that when we tune into it, we have a sense of knowing, a sense of peace inside. So to begin tonight, I'd like to ask that we all just close our eyes for a moment. Place our hands on our heart center and just take a nice deep breath in. breathing in through your nose, breathing in and holding that breath, and then releasing that breath. And we take another nice deep breath in, holding that breath, and then releasing that breath. And then saying right here, right now, as you sit, your hands upon your chest, at your heart center, and your focus is on your breath, you're aware that you are breathing. You're aware that you're present right here, right now. You're aware. You hold an awareness. And as we sit and we feel our own being, our own energy, we're tuning in to our intuition. Your intuition assisted you in tuning in to this show this evening. The feeling, oh, I'd like to join this show. This looks good. There's some resonance here. I think I'll tune in and explore. That's listening to your inner guidance. That's listening to your intuition. So you can open your eyes now as we talk about intuition, realizing that that's your inner being. That's your guidance. It's within you, with you in every breath that you take. And when you approach it from that understanding, now it's no longer something I have to acquire, something I need a specific skill to achieve, something that needs to be developed more in order for me to receive guidance. It's already here. So then what my practice is to allow myself to be open to receive the guidance. And I set my intention as I'm going through my day. My intention is set that I am walking in the flow of life, meaning that I am walking with conscious awareness through my daily rounds, whatever I'm doing, my job, whatever it may be, knowing that I'm connected to the source of all that is, that's inside of me, inside of everything in all of creation. There's a connection there for me. I'm not disconnected. I'm connected. And I'm going to experience that connection based upon my understanding of it. My belief in myself to connect, my belief that I am connected, that's what's important. So when I'm open, I open my heart and I breathe in, I say, okay, now if I've got a question, I've got something that I need help with, say it's a job and I have a choice between different jobs. I've got offers on the table and I've got to decide which one's right for me. Then I sit quietly. I close my eyes. I tune out the five senses. I go quiet and deep. I can place my hands on my heart and I can ask myself, my own inner guidance, that source within me, what is the right action for me now? And I allow myself just to breathe, to feel. And then I call within my mind the first offer. And I say, how does this feel? Because intuition is access through the feeling tones to feel. So how does it feel? How does it feel within me when I imagine myself in the interview? And as the interview comes to completion, the person that interviewed me reaches across the table to shake my hand and welcome me aboard. How does it feel? Does it feel peaceful? Does it feel joyful? Does it feel tense? Does it feel that I'm uncertain? How does it feel? And I just note the feeling inside of me. And then I think of the next offer. And I go through the same exercise. And I see how that feels. And when I'm tuning into the feeling, I'm able to access my intuition. I'm able to access the information, the inner knowing. I will be guided by the presence when I'm allowing myself to be so. So it's a matter of opening the heart, doing the asking, and then allowing yourself to receive. You are always, all of us, divinely guided. We are always, every step, every breath we take is divinely orchestrated. We are always taken care of, whether we realize it or not. We don't have to understand the how to in order for that care to be taken. It's always there. Our soul is always in direct communication with us. We cannot turn it off. There's nothing that we can do to ever turn off that connection. That connection was there from the moment that you stepped into this life, and it will be there until your very last breath. And then you just continue on. But you cannot do anything to make this connection any stronger than it already is, other than opening to receive, by understanding that it is your divine right, your divine birthright, to allow yourself to receive the guidance, to open up to that which is the non-physical, the unseen. We learn all about the physical world and all of its distractions, and all of it's vying for our attention all the time, keeping us so busy. But it's the non-physical aspect of us that's always present, always there whenever we choose to focus within. And when we choose to focus within, then we're aligning with the presence. Then that's where we access the feeling of peace. That's where we allow ourselves to commune with the presence. That's when we experience beyond the physical senses. It's through tapping into the guidance within, tapping into the presence, tapping into the intuition. It's a feeling sense that we have. Some people refer to intuition as, oh, my gut feeling. I just had a gut feeling that that wasn't the place to go or the right thing to do. And that's the truth. Yes, it's feeling in the gut. You have this gut feeling, a feeling sense. And you understand it. Your understanding, your ability to understand what you felt is that, oh, that's my gut feeling. It tells me what to do and what not to do. And that's perfect. But as you grow and develop more in the understanding of the true nature of your being, that will naturally expand. And you'll come into a deeper awareness of what is happening and how to access and how to go deeper. So you're learning to go deeper. You are not making that connection stronger. You're just allowing yourself to go deeper to a connection that's always there, always present. So it's a learning how to tune in, how to access, and how to receive that guidance. So there's the understanding that there is intuition. And intuition, what does intuition, it's an inner knowing. It's a sensing that goes beyond the physical. Can't reach out and touch it. You just know it. It's a feeling. I just know it to be so. Last week when we had our introduction session and I spoke about an experience I had with a coworker many, many, many years ago when we were online at a bank cashing our check on a Friday afternoon after work. And I said to her, "You need to go tonight." And I told her where she needed to go. And she said, "What? Are you crazy? Why?" And I said, "Because you need to meet someone there. It's very important. You need to go." And she said, "Well, how do you know?" And I said, "I can't explain how I know. I just know that I know." So that was my intuition. That was me listening to my intuition. And then her intuition responded by saying, "I think I should go." And she went. And then she came into work on Monday and said, "I met this guy. He's great. We're dating." Fast forward a year later, they're getting married. That's paying attention to the intuition. Even though that came up with her, the fear of, oh my gosh, I'm going to this by myself. I'm not really comfortable going by myself. I don't know. I've never been there before. But she didn't allow that to stop her because she tuned into her own inner guidance. And the inner guidance said, listen, go, go experience. And she did. So that's an example of listening to your intuition. Everyone's got it. No one is without it. We're all tuned in. We're all connected when we focus, on the connection. If we don't focus upon it, we don't access it to the fullness of its being. We don't get to experience it. Doesn't mean that we don't have it. It just means we're not experiencing it because we're not tuning in. So when we ask, well, how do I tune into my intuition? I sit by myself. I'm not around anyone else. I'm not listening to anyone else. I'm not looking for guidance outside of myself. I'm tuning in. I'm taking a breath. When I'm breathing, I come to the awareness that I'm present. I'm breathing. I could feel the breath. I'm not creating the breath. I'm being breathed, which means that the presence that created me is breathing me. The presence that created me is breathing me. I'm being breathed. I'm not breathing. I didn't create the breath. So for my logical mind, if I'm breathing and I didn't create the breath, then that which created me is present. So if I keep going with that and I allow that, and I say, okay, if I've got the breath and I'm breathing in and I'm present, and if I open my heart and allow myself to feel, and then I begin to ask questions, and the questions are questions which open up to the experience, and not a yes or a no, is this right or is this wrong, but what is the next right step? And I allow myself to be guided, knowing that it's my right, my birthright to receive such guidance because I am connected to that which is at all times. Now I'm in the dance. Now I'm dance. Now I'm in the dance. Now I'm getting that experience. So that's tapping into the intuition. So in order to do that requires me to be open, requires me to allow myself to experience that. To allow myself to experience to the best of my ability, because that's all that I can ever do is experience based on where I am in the moment in consciousness. That which I hold will produce my experience. So if I'm holding now the belief that it is there for me and I'm dancing with that energy, then that's going to be my experience. If I'm afraid and I'm saying, I'm not sure I can do this. Don't know what intuition is. I don't know. Other people seem to have it, but I don't. I can't connect to it. I wish I could. Then my experience is going to be the fretting about that I don't have it until I can say, you know what? I've had that experience of doubting myself. And I know what that feels like. But what if I suspend that just for a moment, just right here, right now, this day? And I just open up and I put my hands on my chest And I breathe in and I just begin to allow myself to experience the presence within me. And I just sit quietly and I just feel. And as I do that, the more I do that, I notice that I start to feel a sense of peace. And then I can ask my questions and see what comes. I hope that's making sense. And there's a lot of questions regarding intuition that I've already received. I've got 3 really great ones here that I'm going to be addressing in a few minutes. Hello, Chaley, if I'm pronouncing that right. Hello, nice to see you. Hello, Talia. Talia has submitted some great questions, and I'm going to be getting to those questions real soon. And they have. When I set the topic for this tonight's show, that afternoon, I started to receive questions about regarding intuition, regarding that inner feeling, regarding the trust. How do I trust what is intuition? So if you have any questions, post them here, and I'll address them right after our station break. So that will be good. This feels wonderful to be guided by you. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So intuition, once again, it's the feeling. What is required to access it? Openness. Openness. We are already holding the keys to unlock the doors that we have closed to accessing the truth of our being. We have those keys. We're just not in realization of that fact. But when we start by allowing ourselves to open to the possibility that, oh, I can do this. I'm potential. I can do this. All I need to do is tap into it. Then I have a totally different life experience. The electricity flowing through our walls, always current, always there. That current is there. But if we never plug in to the outlet, we don't get to experience that electricity. We want light, we've got to plug in. We want toast, we've got to plug the toaster in. It's waiting. It's always there. The same thing with our inner knowing, our inner presence. It's part of us. It's not separate from us. It's that which we are. It's another aspect. We just call it intuition, but it's that part of us that holds that inner knowing. Hello, Kelly. Nice to have you tonight on this chat. Thank you. Yeah. So I hope this is making sense because I always feel so much when someone says, I want to tune into my intuition, but I just don't know how. And I'm like, oh, understand. Let's come from the understanding that it's already there and let's just open to it. And when we open to it, to experience it, it's opening without defining what the experience is to look like, what the experience is to feel like, not allowing somebody else sharing their experience, saying, oh, well, it's got to be what she experienced or what he experienced. If I don't have that same experience, I'm not doing it right. It's not happening for me. Maybe it's all in my imagination. Maybe this is just my wanting this answer to come forth or this feeling to come forth. Maybe it's me really wanting that first job offer, and I'm not really listening to my intuition. So it requires us to open, allow, and then the cultivation is in the trusting of the self. This is part of life's lessons, learning how to trust, learning how to be in physicality. We are spirit, first and foremost. We are spirit. We are the non-physical, situated in a physical body, in a physical reality. So we have to integrate. We integrate through living life. We integrate the non-physical aspect of ourself with the physical aspect. And that's how we experience life. And we do it in everything we do. Every word, every thought, every deed that we do is an expression of that which we are, always. And it's expressing and creating our reality. The reality of which we are experiencing, we are creating based on our understanding of our own energy. We may not realize what we're doing, that we're creating. The client I spoke with this morning was asking, how do I manifest? I want to manifest. I said, well, you're always manifesting. You're manifesting something. You may not like what you're manifesting, but you're always manifesting. We are always creating. Just like the electrical current in the walls, it's always flowing. We are always flowing. We are always in movement. We are energy in movement. We're consciousness, holding a point of awareness. So we are that consciousness. So that consciousness always has within it that creative aspect. We are always creating. We may not be tapping into it in its fullness based on where we are within our awareness, but it's always present. So say, okay, well, I want to manifest. Well, what is it that you want to manifest? And then they say, well, I want to manifest a new home. Okay, you want to manifest a new home. What is calling you to a new home? Do you want a larger space? Do you want a space in a particular area? What is calling you? And then sit with the self, quiet, close the eyes, breathe, and accessing the intuition, that inner guidance. Say, okay, what is seeking to arise within me? I feel a calling to move. I want to go deeper with this and see what comes up. What comes up within the feeling inside of you? Does it feel excited? Does it feel joy? Does it feel a calling, a pulling to explore? And then you say, okay, I sat for a few minutes. Now I have to go to work. And I go to work, and then I'm in the break room at work. And I've asked this question this morning while I was meditating. And then in the break room, somebody starts talking about a relative of theirs that lives in another state. And they start describing the home that they have. And as they're having this conversation, you're pouring your coffee at the coffee maker. You're just listening, kind of eavesdropping. But in that sense that when you're listening, you get starting to get a feeling inside of you. Ooh, that sounds good. Ooh, that feels good. So that then is a signal saying, okay, well, explore that and see where that may lead. Start to look at that area and then see, does it call you in a more powerful way, or does it not? You see how this dance takes place? This isn't okay, give it to me now, slap it on the table, and here it is. This is a dance. We are dancing with the non-physical aspect of ourself, the physical. We're integrating. We're dancing with that. So I say, okay, well, I'm listening to this because the language that that the intuition speaks is very subtle, very gentle. And say, okay, go this way. Okay, go this way. You see? And then we're the action part. We have that in the world, the physical, we get to go and do. And then we get to experience. And based on the experience, it leads us then to the next question. And then that's the dance, the back and forth, the back and forth, the back and forth. The breathing in. When we breathe in, that's when we're contemplating. When we breathe out, that's when we're in action. You see? That's the flow of life. It's the in and the out, the ebb and the flow. So if we're too much in action, got too much going on, and we're not sitting back and listening, then we're more than likely going to be making a mess. But when we sit, we learn to sit and listen. It's learning to sit and listen and focus. It's not learning how to increase the power of the intuition. It's learning how to sit and focus, to access it, to put the key in the door to unlock it. I hope that makes sense. So that's when you come at it from that perspective. It's easier then to say to yourself, okay, this is what I need to do. I need to learn this action here. I'm unlocking the door and I'm opening up to that which is already behind the door. It's already there. I'm not responsible for creating it. I don't have to do it right. I don't have to go through all these steps. I don't have to do any ritual in order to make it happen. All I need to do is come to the awareness that it's present. And then I get to dance. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Very good. All right. Okay. I'm watching my time here. Okay. And I'm not sure if I need to take a break. All right. Well, take the time now, if you feel, to type in your questions. And I have a question that I'm already going to begin to address here, um, which the first question placed is from Talia, and she's on because I know she's there. I see her. What are some ways, Talia is asking, what are some ways I can claim my power so that I can see beyond the patterns that I've become accustomed to? And we say, great, great, you're acknowledging pattern. You're acknowledging a pattern of which you've been accustomed to. And what you're asking to do is to go beyond that which you've known. So if I want to go beyond that which I've known, I must step into the willingness to release that which I've known and let it be the best. And I step into the now. I'm in the now and right here. And I acknowledge that I have a desire to experience, and then I state what that is. Followed by that belief in that it is my right to do so, and that when I open to it, it's there for the experiencing. I'm not allowing myself to be held back by memory, by what I've experienced in the past. I'm not allowing patterns to hold me back because I recognize that they're a pattern. And the pattern says, when I'm following it, that if I do this, I'm going to experience this outcome, because this is what I've known. This is what I've always done. This is what I've always gotten. This is what I've received based on what I've asked. And I recognize that that's a pattern. But now I say, okay, I'm going to design something new. I'm going to allow myself to open without the expectation of what needs to occur. So I do not have to be held to an outcome. I release holding to an outcome. I allow that presence within me to speak to me without having a preconceived notion of what the outcome is. I'm allowing myself to enter into the dance. I'm saying, yes, I know what has been, and it's been great up to now. But now I'm going to put that on the shelf, and I'm going to open up to that which is now. I'm stepping into the newness. I'm stepping into trusting that voice within me. I'm stepping into trusting that I am guided in this way. And I'm in the dance of life. And I'm going to experience what's here for me, knowing that what unfolds is in direct relationship to that which I'm expressing in the moment, which means it's perfect for me. It's perfect for my learning. It's perfect for the next greatest expression of me. It's a road traveled. It's not a destination. I'm not arriving at this place. I'm traveling along this pathway. I'm increasing my ability to trust in me, to believe in me, to open up and allow myself to experience life together with the presence that is breathing me. That presence is within me, and that presence is experiencing life with me, as me. It can only operate through me. It cannot operate for me. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I hope it does. Let me know in the comments if that makes sense. And if I'm saying something and it's not making sense, please let me know and we'll clarify for you. Okay. Okay. All right. Go down here. Kelly, love. Okay. So it says, yes, thank you. Okay. A mess indeed. Talia says a mess indeed. Yes, it does create a mess indeed. And a mess simply means if we stand within the mess and we say, this is okay, and then we begin to take action, then we begin to work with that. And as we work with that, we're creating the next experience. And it's the dance. Once again, it's the dance. We're not saying I have to be a certain way, do a certain thing in order to be correct. We're saying as I'm experiencing and I'm allowing myself the experience, I'm growing, I'm learning, I'm expanding, I'm potential in motion here, and I'm creating. I'm accessing that potential and creating, and that's a wondrous thing. That's the beauty of life. We have such actual bindings on ourselves based on the beliefs that we're holding and what we've experienced and what is the collective consciousness or the race consciousness on how we should behave and what we should do and all of the things that go along with that. And all of that is to be let loose and not hold us back. This is the time. We're approaching the new year, and this is the time very much so. And it's a great time. Life is beautiful. Life is great. No matter how chaotic this world is right now, no matter what we see with our physical eyes on a newscast, that doesn't make for the world. That's just one little snippet of somebody's perception. And you are to ask yourself, do I want to believe in that? Do I want to be part of that? Or is there something greater for me? And ask that intuition, your inner knowing. Go, is this right for me? Am I to be participating in this? And see what comes up. Because when you're asking that, what's going to come up for you is the correct experience for you. So it is trusting the self, learning to connect, learning to listen, and then acting upon it. Going forth, moving with fear, through fear, not allowing fear of acting in a different way to stop us from moving forward. When we move forward, we get to experience the next greatest expression of ourselves. It's not the destination, it's not the end all, it's not what defines us. We are already defined. We are divine beings of light. We are love. We are spirit present here, having a physical experience, so that we can eventually, through the movement, the dance of life, come to the state of being of which we are in oneness. We can describe oneness as a concept, as a principle, and say, yeah, everything in life is connected. Everything is one. We're all connected. And yes, we are. We all stem forth. We're all from the one creator of all life. So we are part of that creator. We are all that. That's our sameness. We get to experience what that means. What does it really mean when we step out of the principle of it and say, okay, now I need to integrate it. I need to experience life from that point. What does that look like? What does that feel like? And then we start the dance. I know I'm going beyond intuition and the power of choice here, but this is just as it's coming to me to express here and now. And it's such a great time because we are opening up to this new year. And in this new year, in this time, we are in the age of information. There's so much information out there. So many people are awakening at different levels of conscious awareness to the facts that we are spirit. We are spirit. We're having a human experience here. We're having a physical experience. We are not this physical body. We are experiencing having a body so that we can be in a physical world and integrate and then eventually experience our oneness with all. That's what living is about for us here and now. And we get to do it with more and more people awakening all the time to their own individual true nature as individuated aspects of consciousness. And they're doing it in support of one another. When we start to awaken, we start to rise. And as consciousness starts to rise, it lifts all with it. So we are supported. We don't have to hide away in a closet and say, oh, well, I'm this spiritual person learning what it's like. No, we get to work, we get to join together on podcasts like this one. We get to join together. When we're reading a book, we're joining with the author of that book. And the author of that book is a human form, but it's spirit. It's source. Everything is sourced by source. We are sourced by source. And as we come to that understanding, life takes on a whole new perspective. And then we increase from there. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. And I know that I must have missed here that we need to take a station break because I'm already 42 minutes in. Todd, are you there? Do we need to break? I'm not seeing it here. Okay. 5 minutes to station break. Okay. Okay. So we're going to take a station break and then we're going to be back to answer some more questions. So I have 2 more here already and I'm waiting for more. So we'll go ahead and take that break.
Want to see your video here? Sponsor WLTK-DB Talk Radio and watch us make that happen. With your paid sponsorship of $80, you receive a professional produced audio, video, and banner placement on our station. Not only does your sponsorship air during our live shows, but also replayed on our podcast and heard by hundreds of like-minded people. Visit WLTK-DB.com to get started and find out just how hard we work to get you noticed.
Okay, and we're back. Good. I'm just getting used to going between the comments here. All right. So that was a great question, Talia. Ways of which you can go beyond that, the patterns of which were set for you, by you, that you were experiencing life through. And it's a wonderful thing that you realize that they were patterns and that you are willing to move beyond, because it is the will. When we hold the will, that's the power. The will is the power. We have the will to achieve. We have the will to go beyond. When we harness the will, we're unstoppable. So when you've got the will to go beyond, know that it is then set for you as you then step into the next step, which is allowing yourself to experience new. And you know within, you have an inner knowing, an inner calling of what it is that is right for you. We all do. We all know exactly what's right. We like to ask other people for their opinions. We like to hear what other people's thoughts are. But if we then take those thoughts and we sit by ourselves and we tune into that intuition, we will always know, hands down. We always know. And we know when we are not paying attention or listening to that intuition as well. And that's when I call it the mess. Because when we're not listening and we're doing something from the ego sense, from being so driven by the ego or so headstrong, then we usually come up against a wall or things seem great and then they fall apart. It's because we are then following not our intuition, but we're following the mind. Where mind is taking control of the situation and is leading us instead of us being led by spirit, by the intuition. So to create new patterns, use the will, set yourself in that I am going to listen to my intuition, allow myself to experience it, knowing that it's mine and it's placed there. It's always there. It's always been there, always be there as long as I'm breathing here in this life. So know that and go forward with it. Okay. So you choose the way to go, where to live. If that's your question, where do I live? Who to develop relationships with, what career path to choose. While these questions appear difficult to answer, they are not. They are not. We wish you to know that you are always guided in the direction that you need to be. This is where the lesson lies in life. This is where trust is learned. It's learned through the living, the lesson, through the actions taken. When you feel, you get a sense of feeling, you're connecting. I'm connecting. Oh, I'm finally connecting. I got a sense of feeling to do this, to go in this direction. And I go and I experience it. Then I say, oh, I listen to the calling. As I listen to that calling, I experience the results. Now I'm building trust. And then the more I flex that trust muscle, the stronger that muscle becomes. And I start to trust until I find myself living life in the flow. We call it the flow of life. I'm living life guided automatically. I'm not trying to control through my mind. I'm not trying always to do the correct action based on what I perceive the correctness to be, because my perception of the correctness is limited. I have a limited perception based on my conscious awareness in the moment. Spirit has the unlimited unlimited point of view. Okay, let's call it that. The unlimited perception. So when we're tuning in, we get the unlimited rather than our limited. Limited because it's based on, like I said, past patterns, based on memories, based on history. It's not based in the now. You're new, you're fresh, you're new in each and every breath. So why would you want to do what you've always done when you're new? Because it's not the same you doing it. You get to have a totally new experience. You get to experience it in a different way. So open up and allow. Understanding that everything you need is given to you. Even though it may not look that way, it may not feel that way, it is that way. That's law. That's according to the universal law. And know as you live your life and that which you're believing, that's what you're planting. You're planting seeds. And the seeds that you plant must grow the plant that's held within the seed. So if I'm planting seeds of, I can't do this, I can't do this, I've never been able to do this, I can't manifest, everybody else does it, but I don't, then that's what's going to grow. And those are the experiences I'm going to have. They're based on what I've planted. As you sow, you reap. That's law. So then if I understand that, I say, oh my goodness, let me look at the seeds I'm holding. Is this a seed that I want to plant? Do I want this to grow? Or do I want to grow that I experience that which I'm desiring? I'm experiencing peace. I'm experiencing love. I'm experiencing joy. I'm experiencing connectedness to others. I'm experiencing comfort. You see? If that's what I want to experience, then those are the seeds that I want to plant. And when I plant them, then I nurture them. I continue to focus in that direction. I don't allow myself to focus in the direction of which I've already been. I'm moving forward. I'm in forward movement. I'm life affirming. I'm connecting with others who are doing the same thing. I'm creating an environment for the necessary nurturing of the seed of which I planted so it comes to fruition and I experience the fruits of my labor. Does that make sense? So many times we think that we're not manifesting, that we're not receiving because it's not what we want. We're receiving the same old, same old. And it's because when we look what's going on, when we uncover what's going on, we realize we are in action of the same old, same old. So what needs to take place here is we need to make some adjustments. We need to open to the possibilities. We need to say to ourselves that I am the receiver of, and then state what it is. It's mine to experience. The abundance of all life is here for us when we open to receive it. The reason that we don't receive it is because we have set up blocks based on experiences that we had that we believed were reality. Reality. That's the reality of what has been. It's not the current reality of what is. And when we understand that we can shift and change the energy by changing that which we're believing, by recognizing our power to choose, we get the power to choose. It's inside of us. We are co-creating this existence with the source of which created us and everything in all of creation. We are a part of that. We are life. We are here to experience the living of that life. We're here to have experiences. We're here to trust ourselves. We're here to do something and fall down and then pick ourselves up, shake it off, and go on and try again. We're here to do things and then experience success. We're here for all of it. It's all part of living. It's all part of growing. It's all part of experiencing. And we're here to do it together, together in community, together helping one another, realizing that I'm not separate from those around me. We live in separate homes. We have our own reality based on our own perceptions and beliefs, but we're not separate. We're part of that same source. So if I'm asking that source for something, I best be in gratitude for the source in every aspect around me. Not that I'm sectioning it off and saying, those over there, go there, and I'm over here, and I don't want anything to do with those because they are, and whatever it is we're claiming them to be. We're now condemning. And because we've condemned, that's the seed we planted. So guess what we're going to reap? We're not going to be able to access our greater good unless we are offering our greater good to the community. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so many times we say, oh, well, I asked for something and it's not coming because we're thinking it's black and white. We're not realizing that there's a lot more to it. And when we start to tap into and tune into our intuition, and we start to ask, okay, I've asked, and every day I'm asking, and I don't seem to be receiving any answers. And then the intuition, a thought pops up in our mind or a feeling. It's like, oh, wait a minute. What did I say about so-and-so just a few minutes ago? Oh my God, I cut them off. I cut them out of my heart. But I'm asking to experience love. I'm asking to experience the Creator's love and experience the abundance. Well, if I cut them out of my heart, then I've closed my heart. I'm not open. What do I need to do to receive? Be open. So what do I need to do right now? I need to make amends. I need within me stop right as I come into this awareness and go, okay, I don't have to agree with the person. I don't have to hold their beliefs. They may be doing something that's dastardly and say, that's theirs. They can do it. I'm going to let them be them. I'm not going to make them into something that I think they should be. I'm going to let them be them because I know that as we move through this game of life, they will eventually go through the board here and they will reach a place where they'll understand, oh my goodness, I've miscreated. I've done things that I need now ask forgiveness for. I need to make amends, you see? But they get to determine when that day arrives, not us. I hope that makes sense. So if we want to clean up the mess, we got to be willing to sit with it. We got to be willing to ask the tough questions. And we've got to be willing to work with the answers and not think that, oh, it just means, well, I'm in the flow, everything goes easy. Everything's nice. No, it means bumps come along so that you learn how to handle the bump, so that you don't get thrown to the side of the road just because you went over a bump. You went over a bump and you go, okay, and then you just keep on going. You keep on going because you're spirit in a physical form. You are love, here to experience yourself as love, created by love. Not every experience you're going to have is a loving experience, but that doesn't define you. You get into the mess when you allow that to define you. You think, oh, well, everything has to be love and I have to feel good and everything's good. No, you're going to say something that's going to upset someone, or someone's going to say something that's going to upset you. That's how you grow. That's how you learn. You go, wait a minute. Okay, they said that. Now, if it upset me, it means that there's something inside of me that's calling for my attention. They're calling for my attention. So then let me tend to what it is, whatever it may be, and let me work there. Let me work there. Let me begin, because I don't have all the answers. I don't have all the understanding of what's going on. But I do have the capacity to call forth love. So in this moment, right here, right now, I call forth love. I wrap my hands around myself. I hold myself and I say, in this moment, I call forth love. And I just let myself experience love, no matter what. I just let myself have that experience. And then that experience may be for me that I have a feeling of warmth inside of me. I suddenly feel a sense of connectedness. I feel it. I experience it. I give gratitude for it. And then I open my heart and I release it to the person or circumstance that I was holding it from. I hope this makes sense. And that's what we're called to do. That's spiritual growth. That's awakening. Awakening's not what dimension am I on? Am I in the fifth dimension, the sixth dimension, the seventh dimension? You're all those dimensions. Let me tell you that. But the part of you that's here in this physical form is to experience love. And as you open up, you'll experience other dimensions. You'll know what it is you need to know when you need to know it. And if you're not experiencing it, guess what? You don't need to know it at the moment. So let yourself off the hook and get the richness of what you're experiencing in the here and now. That's living. That's being part of the dance. I hope that makes sense. Hope that makes sense. I've gone off on a tangent. But so know that all paths, no matter what you walk, hold the lessons that you need. Your purpose is to realize this. You are here and now to learn to completely love and accept yourself. This is done by interrelating with others, as we said, in the world around you. You can't cut yourself off from everyone and everything and then expect to experience love. You need to be interrelating because you're interrelating with you as you're interrelating with others. Okay? So the next question was, how do I set boundaries that protect myself from people that I care about, but whose energy I find is harmful to me? What many people will say, oh, they have negative energy. So how do I set the boundary? And I ask myself, okay, what does setting the boundary mean? Does that mean that I remove myself from their company? Perhaps it does. And sometimes we need to do that. In the physical form, we need to say, you know what? You play in that sandbox, I'll play in this sandbox. But it doesn't mean that I won't love you. I can still send you love and think loving thoughts and hope the very best for you, and that you experience all the goodness in life and that you awaken with Godspeed, but you do it in your own sandbox. That's okay. We don't have to make room in our energy field for that which does not hold resonance in the moment. But as we are saying that, and we are saying, okay, for you, may you awaken with Godspeed. Now that's a loving act. Now, what I sow, I reap. So now that comes to me as my experience. Does that make sense? I hope it does. And then as I'm setting boundaries, I ask myself, what is it I want to experience here? Am I afraid of experiencing pain? Does this person set off within me alarms? Does this person set off within me memories that I hold that are needing to be set off at this time? I have to ask myself those questions. And if so, I can go be by myself and process that. And then I can still choose to say, I need not be around this person all the time. I can set boundaries. I can set the boundaries of which are determined by me. The source which created us, infinite intelligence, call it nature, call it God, call it whatever you need to call it. It doesn't matter. It simply is. It doesn't need to be, it cannot be defined. We can't define it. It simply is. The name is based on our own need. We need to know that. That's our own need. Whether we can accept the name God or not is our own stuff. And for us to work through until we come to the realization eventually that, oh, it's simply love, you see. So when we are talking about boundaries with another and say, okay, what do I determine that's right for me here and now? And I do it lovingly. As long as I am acting every thought, word, and deed with love, I'm in the right place. I hope that makes sense. So that's how you know what to do. How can I tell the difference between guidance or a warning of an ego-based fear? Guidance simply is, it flows naturally, it's flowing, it's guiding, it's calling gently, it's relentless. It just keeps flowing. It keeps flowing. It's not pressing you to do anything. You're not pressed, you're not pushed. You're simply gently guided. Fear is patterns. You recognize those. So when the fear comes up and you're feeling it and you believe it to be part of your intuition, it's fearful. Say, okay, what am I fearing? This is a calling. It's a calling here to heal what's the obstacle so that I can move beyond it. And when I move beyond it, then I can go with what's the next step. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so guidance simply is, it's very subtle, very gentle. Fear, you know the fear, it's your patterns. The ego is the mind trying to control, tell you what's right. It's got the but what if. But what if is always a kick in the butt. Okay, it's not a good thing. The but what if is my fear. When I'm getting a calling and it's my intuition, I move with it very gently. I go with it. I hope that makes sense. Okay. And what is the spiritual way to think about setting healthy boundaries? Oh, we went over that. When you care for someone and the relationship is hurtful, it's hurtful because it's calling for something within me to heal. So it's my own belief that I can be hurt. Because in the absolute, I am whole and complete. I am fullness. I am love. I am beauty. I am joy. But because I believe that I can be hurt, I believe that I can be defined by something in this physical world, by someone in this physical world. Somebody can tell me my worth. Then needs something to be healed. So because that needs to be healed, then I'm going to have experiences with others whom I'm interrelating with that's going to call that into my awareness. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Well, thank you all for joining us this evening. Wow, this hour has gone by fast. Please continue to submit your questions. If you're listening to this recording as a recording, then send your questions to Aumara at Aumara Bonnet, BONNET.com. It's up on the screen right now. And I will have those questions to answer next week. So please don't hold back in asking the questions. As we ask questions, we all grow. We're all growing, no matter who we are, no matter where we are. We're all growing all the time. We're never stagnant. It's not possible. We are life. We're in motion. We're spirit in motion. So we're all growing in a deeper understanding of that which we are. We are eternal. We are not limited to this physical form. Remember that. And as we leave tonight and we step forth to welcome into the new year, may we do it with an open heart. May we do it allowing ourselves to be, to really just allow ourselves to be. That which is present, I love you. That which is here. And oh, what fun we get as we journey through this life experience together. We open up to the source, the presence within us, the God presence, the infinite intelligence, the nature, whatever it may be that we call it. All we need to do is open to it, and it embraces us. And so it is. I say good night. Thank you. Bye-bye.